HoundDogLorenz.com.
Speak, man! The Hound!
Hey, the Hound's around. Mr. Movin' is groovin'. Right here at Studio C of BLK. Hound Dog until 10 tonight. The first 15 minutes for Big John Maroney. The very natural Ford man. John Maroney at 1717 Walden Avenue has the deal of your summer. John Maroney wants to save you up to 1,000 greens on a nice new bomb at 1717 Walden. So come on out and get acquainted with Big John tonight. Get his deal. He'll save you $1,000 or more. And by the way, just beyond his great big automobile dealership, there's the John Maroney Travel Center. And they've got trailers that are all set to take you and your entire family wherever you want to go and save you, dig now, save you the price of a hotel or motel every night and make your vacation right and reasonable. See John Maroney and get the deal. Well, Hound Doggers, I'll tell you what we're going to do tonight. We're going to take the first 15 minutes to recognize the man who appeared at Melody Fair last night. Truly, he broke it up. He had about a 60 or 65 or maybe 70% house out there last night. It didn't make any difference. It was the most enthusiastic, bombastic crowd to ever watch a performer work. The other people that weren't there last night that didn't make it, it was your misfortune because Little Richard, once again, was positively fantastic. The man with the tall hair did a lot of things, and we managed to cut a very exclusive interview with Little Richard that we'll present during the John Maroney portion. Now, let me say this. Little Richard, last night, proved once again that he is truly the king of rock and roll. I'm sorry that I didn't have more time to talk to the guy with the cast on his foot last night and his buddy who's been listening to the Hound Dog. He just come back from Singapore and listening to the Hound over there. And to Mrs. White, who came in not only with her son, and she used to listen to me when she was a young teenager, and her son is now 14 years old, but she also brought her father out to see the man who really rocked him last night. Here he is, Little Richard. And good golly, Miss Molly. Bradley Cool flipped his cool last night over Little Richard. Hey, good golly, Miss Molly. Go!
Good golly, Miss Molly, sure like the ball. Good golly, Miss Molly, sure like the ball. When you're rocking in the morning, can't hear your mama call. From the early morning to the early night, when the come Miss Molly rocking at the house of blue light. Good golly, Miss Molly, sure like the ball. When you
there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Little Richard. As he performed last night at Melody Fair, he did that. And I'll tell you, during the John Maroney portion, right now, we're going to take time out for a special interview with Little Richard. Little Richard told me this. He doesn't grant too many interviews. One of the few times that he has. I think you'll dig this interview because you're going to hear a lot of things about Little Richard and about the future, and a lot of things he's done that you've never ever heard before. You're going to hear the man himself tell it like it was, like it will be, and like it is today. And I'd like to say this to you. Little Richard will be heard on WBLK very, very shortly in a very, very special concert. We'll tell you more about that later this week. Right now, at Melody Fair last night, Little Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting in the dressing room of Melody Fair with probably the most fabulous entertainer, as you have heard me say many times in WBLK of modern times. I'm talking about one Richard Penniman. Richard?
Hi, Hound Dog, George. It's been so long. Today when I got off the plane to come to play the engagement at Melody Fair, I couldn't believe it. And when I looked and that's the reason I looked and I said, Hound Dog. I don't even know why you still use the name. But I know that it was real groovy back in the good days, which the days are still good. But I was really glad to see you and to see that how you're still carrying the soul. And you was carrying it, when wasn't nobody carrying it.
Yeah, that's
in fact, I think you one of the first white cats to really carry a soul over the country, although a lot of them try to take the credit.
Yeah.
But you was carrying it even back there, and I know you wasn't going to stop. And you had to get the station to carry it on so you can carry it the way you wanted to.
That's right.
Because a lot of them didn't want you to do it even then, but you did it anyway.
Keep doing my thing.
In spite of all the opposition.
Keep doing my thing.
You've been doing your thing for a long time. And we want to get a chance, George, to come back to Buffalo in town.
Yeah.
The theater, the tent is way out.
Yes.
And we would like to come back in town. And we'd like to come back, with you so that the people can get a chance to see how we was presented a long time ago when we was drawing the thousands of people. As in this, we are still drawing thousands. We just played Atlantic City, New Jersey. We had 60,000.
Oh, boy.
And it was fantastic.
How'd you do at Madison Square Garden, Richard?
It's a sellout, 2 days. We did 2 days, and it was a sellout for 2 days. We go back in October. I'll be at Madison Square in the big room. Dick Clark is emceeing the show.
I know Dick from the good old days, too.
Yeah.
Now tell me something else, Richard. What are your plans for the future? I think you've got a lot of great things coming up that maybe you'd like to tell our BLK audience about.
Yes, we've just taped the Smother Brothers summer show, George, out in Hollywood, which will be shown on August the 19th across the country. And I'm becoming a regular on the show. I will be on every week with them. And we're also doing an NBC special. And we'll be on many, many television shows. In fact, we'll be on at least 3 times a week for the next 6 months, which will do it for us. And we're coming back, and we want to come back after we do some of that in about 3 months in a row. And we also have a new album out on Reprise, The Real Thing by Little Richard. And The Real Thing is an instrumental song. And Greenwood, Mississippi is out of sight.
Well, they're going to hear it in just a few minutes, Richard.
Oh, yes, and not only here, you got to go out and get it, baby. Go down and get it. It's in the album, The Real Thing by the beautiful Little Richard from Macon, Georgia, old Georgia Peach.
Say, did you know that RCA Victor on their Camden label has issued an album of your material? I wonder if you know that.
No, but I know when royalty times come up, about it, but it's a good album. It's a great album, but it's not like the one that Reprise got out. Reprise has got the striking thing of the year out on me.
Well, it's Little Richard today.
That's right. It's Little Richard Day and yesterday compiled in one, which makes the power of the hour, George.
Yes, indeed.
It is good.
It's a swinging album.
Yes, it is. And I know that they're going to hear it on this station. I bet on this station. And when I found out you would say, I know I can bet on it. I said, George is just like my own brother. I feel very safe because we came through a time when it was a little rougher than it is now.
Yes.
But it was good.
It was good times, yeah.
And I remember when you carried me to the Maple Leaf Garden up in Toronto, and I told you I would come back, and I did, and I'm going to come back again, because whatever you do is big. I like it because you go out on whatever you do.
Right.
If it kills you, and know God has been good to you and you have lasted, because when you treat people right, you have to last.
Well, that's maybe part of it, Richard.
Yes, well, you did. We all have our ups and downs, but you listen, God has been with you, and you haven't forgotten him, and you thank him for everything he's done, and now you're sharing it with others by giving them the good news and peace and happiness in a time of troubles and all the chaos and commotion, you're giving people peace and music and love and soul.
That's what we're doing, Richard.
That's it.
We're doing it every day.
Every
People
day, and the
love it.
kids love it, and the ones that haven't heard you need to listen to you.
I need you here as a publicity man, Richard.
Yes.
Tell me something. I want to ask you just a couple of questions. What was your biggest seller on the specialty label, and how many copies did it sell? Did you ever really have any idea?
Yes, Long Tall Sally.
I would think
Sold
so.
over 5 million by me over the world.
Yes, and then it was recorded by just about every
About
big name
everybody.
in the business.
Yes, and I'd like Tutti Frutti sold over 1 million for me, but it sold 2 million for Pat Boone because at that time black entertainers hadn't broke across the line for top 40 play.
If you remember, that's how you and I met, Little Richard.
That's
You
right.
came to town to see me because you weren't getting exposure.
That's right.
We met at a hotel down on Delaware Avenue, and it
That's
was
right.
at that time that we started to beat the drums for Little Richard.
Oh, every other record. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Every
Yeah.
other record was me.
Little Richard,
You was
right.
playing me like they had the Beatles. You
Yes.
had me going backing up, forward up, and all up. You was doing it for me.
Richard, if there was 4 you like there was the Beatles, you would have by now have sold 150 million records.
Well, we've sold over 60 million, George, and
have
we're
you
glad.
sold a total 60
Over
million?
60 million all
That's
around the
what I was
world, and,
wondering
and we're
about.
real glad for it. And the fans are still fans today. Plus, we have a new set. The new generation has received my music, and I'm very glad because people like Tom Jones, the Beatles, and many other artists of today has taken the music and carried on, which make it a legend today. And I'm glad that a lot of people are not glad. A lot of black artists are not glad when white stars do the music, but I don't feel that way. I'm glad that I had something that somebody wanted to do.
Yes,
There's so
yes.
many people that have some things that don't nobody want to touch.
Yes.
I'm glad that what I had, that it had enough in it that somebody wanted to carry it on. Thank
Yes.
God that it's gone. you
Yeah,
know.
that's right, Richard.
glad.
You've got the right attitude.
I'm really glad.
Tell me, Richard, are you due for any out-of-the-country appearances?
Yes, on the 24th of September, we open in Rome, Italy. We do Rome, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, Holland. We go to Puerto Rico. We go to Australia. I'm doing a whole world tour.
Oh, you are?
Overseas. And then I'm doing the movie. That's the thing I told you about. I was doing
Yes.
this movie with Rock Hudson that we just got a few weeks ago, and I'm acting. I won't be singing. I'm going into acting. I have 3 movies signed to me, and I'm just going to act, and I'm going to make records. And I'm going to produce Nancy Sinatra, an album on her for Warner Brothers to get her a
You
hit
are,
record, and I'm producing an album on Fats Domino to get him a hit.
Oh,
To
well,
help him
how
get
about
the
that?
things that are happening right now. I'm going to do Ruth Brown's tune on Nancy.
5, 10, 15?
Mama, you treat your daughter mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
the great songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the really great ones.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, tell me, when are you coming back to Buffalo? When do you
Well,
think
I
that
would like
might
to
be?
come back in September, Hound Dog.
Before you go to...
Before I go overseas, because
All
we
right.
can go from this area up in here,
right. Okie
and
dokie.
we want you to get in touch with us, and we'll keep in touch with you so we can get a thing set up. And if it's possible, after I check the schedule with the agent to make sure so we won't have no conflict with the timing,
Right.
we'll get a date and we'd like to come back because we know if we come for you, it'll be done the way we would like to see it done.
Oh, we're
We will
gonna
see
do our thing.
thousands of people out there that we can just leap all over the piano because we have the spirit to leap.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and you're going to rip it up.
Damn my God, you're gonna do it.
All right, Richard, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Hound Dog, and may God bless you. Wherever you go, don't you forget, what you do, don't forget to keep on rocking with this man, because it's no man like this man anywhere around about this man looking thing like this man. He is the man, George. Bye.
There he is, Little Richard, and here he is right now. This is Greenwood, Mississippi, as we wind up for Big John Maroney with this one tonight. This is from Richard's brand new album on Reprise, The Real Thing. Sing the song, Richard. Sing the song now. Well, that's Greenwood, Mississippi, and that's Little Richard. You're going to hear a lot more of this by Little Richard. We're going to have it on a cart here. It's got to come on from out of an album. You'll be hearing a lot more of it by Little Richard, Greenwood, Mississippi. Sing a little more, Richard, for John Maroney. Ain't that nice of John Maroney to present Little Richard? Go on and buy a car tonight from John. Okay, Little Richard, that's all she wrote. Y'all come back again now. Woo! All right, that's all the time we've got for Good Rockin'. Ron Baskin's standing by. We got to get over in the newsroom. We'll be right back in just 5 minutes. Right now, it's news time.
George Lorenz.
That's me. Yeah, I'm the man. With the soul music. Tell the people. The Hound. Yeah, right here at Hound Doggin' Time. That's all she wrote for the Blues of the Hound down here in the Blue Room. Time to open that door again and leave the blues behind. Close the door on the Blue Room, Hound. And walk back up that long, lonely corridor. Walk all the way up and say that's all she wrote to the blues of the Hound. Well, it's time for the Hound to split and quit, baby. Getting out of here time. That's what it is. Getting out. Get away from me. Hey, just one thing to my very own Miss Fine. She's waiting down the line. See her standing down there. Ain't that nice? Ain't that fine? Hound Dog says to you, Miss Fine, like, well, I'll say it to you in a minute, but let me say out there in the street straight, huh? And now to my very own Miss Fine, the Hound Dog says, like, later.
Bye.